As you just saw from those slides, the value of the cedi has begun to strengthen against the US dollar following a sharp consecutive depreciation against the American currency. For almost 6 weeks, Joy Business's checks at some forex bureaus indicate that the cedi sold at 10 cedis or below to the dollar on Saturday, and the price is expected to go down in the coming days. This could be as a result of the $750 million Africa Export-Import Bank loan that came in last week, and also as a result of some actions by the Bank of Ghana, including closing down licensed forex bureaus, flouting foreign exchange laws. It's early days yet, but I guess we just have to wait and see what the performance looks like for the rest of the week. Well, another development over the weekend we want to update you on. The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has said the fund is committed to stabilizing Ghana's economy. The assurance is coming ahead of official negotiation talks for a program with the fund from next month. Over the weekend, she tweeted this. We want to show you that on your screen in a bit. She says, constructive meeting with Ghana's Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and his team on Ghana's economic challenges and the way forward. We are ready to do our part to help the authorities stabilize the economy, lay the ground for stronger growth, and help the most vulnerable. So that's the tweet from the IMF MD, Kristalina Georgieva, who met with the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, over the weekend, of course, ahead of official negotiations, which we expect to begin next month. Now, Ghana cancelled the issuance of the 2-year cedi and 5-year cedi denominated bonds, which were initially issued in May and March this year. The auction of the debt instruments, which were reopened to both resident and non-resident investors, was expected to have been completed on Thursday, August 25. Charles Nexin-Yabua has more in this report.
Joy Business understands that the discontinuation of the offer was due to the high yields investors were demanding. Originally, the coupon or interest rate for the 2-year bond was 21.50%, whilst that of the 5-year bond was pegged at 20.75%. However, market conditions that have culminated in treasury bills going for more than 27% meant investors were going to demand more than 30% for the 2 debt instruments. Government is therefore mindful of paying more interest on its loans going forward. A little above 846 million and 1.2 billion cedis were secured when the debt instruments were sold in May and March this year. The price or interest rate for the last 3-year bond issued in July was 29.85%. It came at a time treasury yields were surging as a result of rising inflation rates. This year, government interest payment is estimated at about 42 billion cedis.
All right, let's switch topics and turn to this news. Data from the Ghana Chamber of Telcos shows that the number of subscribers undertaking the SIM card re-registration exercise has seen a significant drop after government announced an extension of the deadline. Now, according to the data, the number of subscribers re-registering their SIM cards dropped from 250,000 by the end of July when the extension was announced to close to 6,000 by August 19. Now, this represents a 98% drop. What may be accounting for the drop? We can speak with Chief Executive of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Ken Ashibe. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us. I was not surprised to hear about the decline, but the rate of decline is alarming. I'm told 98% down.
Yes. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Well, you know, the day that the minister was announcing the conditional extension, there were people seated at the various MNO centers ready to register, and they just left. And so if you look at the data that we've compiled, from the high of July 28th, That's the 235,000 you mentioned. On the 20th, it's dropped for the whole industry up to 5,861. And, so we know definitely that there are some people who do not have the Ghana cards. There are those who, unfortunate brothers and sisters who are amputees who do not, are not able to take their fingers as biometrics. We are unable to register them as we speak. We also have about 250 Ghanaians who attempted to do the SIM registration, and it tells them that data, already supplied. So, and then those who do not have their Ghana cards already. But then there are definitely a lot of Ghanaians who, have their Ghana cards, but are not taking advantage of the low queues that now exist at the MNO centers, as well as at the various areas where you see SIM registration being done there. So it is important that we all recognize that this Ghana card re-registration with a Ghana card is a national imperative. We all know the situations where people would defraud people, attempt to defraud people through social engineering, and it's because they are using SIM cards that, the IDs you cannot verify. But with the NIA, a very robust database system, if you use that to register, then we'll be able to find who is behind that particular number. So that's the negative risk that we need to deal with. But there are other opportunities that, if we had a very strong and robust SIM database, would serve as a digital identification, so that products like loans that are given, various insurance packages, other benefits that can come to people, we are then able to use your digital identity, which is your mobile number, to be able to access you that. In this country, we have the tendency of calling some sectors of the economy as informal, which for me is derogatory. That is our real sector of the economy. And the good thing that technology gives us is that now, if that database is robust, it enables you to be able to, deal with this informal sector. If it be it those in agriculture sector, you now would be able to tell the patterns of their revenue, so that if there's some intervention that you're able to do, you actually are able to do that. If you take the issues of premixed fuel, where we're not too sure who is getting that, with a robust database system where you can actually track what belongs to, you then are able to manage that. So the benefits of getting a robust database, SIM database, which then becomes your digital identity, has enormous benefits for us. And so we all need to work to ensure that as many people as possible could also get registered.
You would have thought that the extension would make people want to get this over and done with. You talk about the importance of having this exercise done, and it makes you wonder whether it defeats the whole purpose of the extension. And are we able to establish right now if it's the fact that people don't really have their Ghana cards and that's why they are not going, or it's just the Ghanaian attitude of going to the centers to register at the last minute?
Daryl, if you look at the data again, you see, when you run through the data, you find out that when it was getting close to July, that's when a lot more people started, going to the various centers. And so the last minute attitude is something that is there. So what we definitely need to do is to be able to separate those who do not have the Ghana card. And so no matter what you do, they will not be able to register. But for those who have, and if you look at the large chunk between those who have done the the first step and those who have done the biometric capture, that's still a lot of Ghanaians. So in the coming days, industry working together with a regulator under the policy direction of the minister, there would be some discomfort that will start happening. A typical example would be that you would want to make, if you have not registered, you would want to make a call, and then it would direct you to say, if you really want to complete this call, then go and get your SIM registered. You might be able to receive calls from those who are registered, but for you who want to make a call, maybe for some days you would not be able to make the call till you go and get your biometric capture done. And once you do that, then you'll be able to make the call. The good thing is that now when you go to most of these centers, there are no queues there. So those who have Ghana cards would definitely be able to register. And we know that the self-registration app has also been deployed. So for our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, or Daryl, for those of you who have enough resources, and you're very busy, you can pay 5 CDs and then get your self-registration.
But how is that going though?
Well, I know that it's just been launched. I'm sure there's going to be some advertisements to educate people, because what will happen is that when you do your 404, there is a unique code that is given to you, and that unique code, you need to input it in once you are doing your registration. One of the recommendations I would give to the technical people behind this is that the point at which you make the payment should be deferred till the point where all your biometrics have been captured and everything is ready. Because what tends to happen these days is that if there's a technical challenge, if you're not careful, you would have made payments and you have to make the payment again to be able to complete it. But apart from that, I think it's a very seamless, and user-friendly process that you can use.
Over the weekend, I caught this interview with a section of the public. I don't remember where I saw it, but the people were being asked about the self-service app. Some said they knew about it, but you could tell they were not motivated to, go onto the app and try to subscribe. Again, I want to find out, so it's too early to determine whether, there's a significant increase in usage of the self-service app, knowing that it was just recently launched.
Well, if you go to Play Store and you look at the number of downloads, there's been quite some number of downloads. So that can tell you that in a few days, the downloads have increased. But in terms of utilization, we need to look at it. For me, especially our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, because there's no MNO center to go and do the registration, they are the people I hope would use that a lot more. And then for those of us who are also very busy, and have the resources to be able to pay the 5 CDs, we should be able to do that. For example, I would be going to Asadamed for my great auntie, who is not too well, but still uses her phone. And normally I would not want anybody, a third person going in there to go and do the registration. I would go and use that to do the registration for her. So there are very good use cases for that. But what I would say is that it is still free. If you walk to any of the MNOs or anywhere you see that same registration being done here, you could go and do it for free. So yes, the self-app is there for those who would want to use it. But for those of us, like myself, who can just walk to any center to go and do it. And there are some cases where the MNOs actually go to places to get it done for them. I urge all of us to take advantage of it, because definitely by September, there will be some measures that will be taken by industry to ensure that those who have the Ghana cards do their registration. And it will come at a bit of a discomfort to all of us. Let's avoid that. Let's take the advantage and get this done without any of that.
Okay, and you say even before September, there should be a warning system in place to get people to, is they registered their SIM cards. I want to find out how much is it costing the telcos that we have extended this period of registration, and can we afford another extension?
It's really an expensive venture. The telcos have had to, because we moved to these new forms of SIM registration, there is, you needed to deploy a lot of smartphones, and the quality of the smartphones, going in excess of 1,000 CDs. So if you deployed in excess of 200,000 of that in the market, that is a cost to you. For every device you get, the app, that the telcos are using, they pay licensing fees for that. The workers, you have happened to recruit some temporary workers to be able to do the SIM registration for you, that you have to pay, and they go and sit and really nothing is happening. If you are just doing 5,000 across the country, you also have the other devices that you need to, canopies and chairs, the other administrative costs. So it's really an expensive exercise, and as much as possible, you would want to clear the large numbers as soon as you can, so that maybe all that will be happening is that the few who would be getting their Ghana cards can then trickle in, to your permanent employed people to go and get that done. Another challenge also that comes as a cost is that this exercise is not a revenue generating exercise. The telcos don't get paid for doing this SIM registration. If you don't do it, you would lose revenue. And then also it detracts from the other innovative products and services that the telcos should be bringing up so that they are able to attract new business. So it's really costing all of us, the industry, a lot of money. And then also is the cost to Ghanaians. All this fraud that are occasioned and all of that. We've really not sat down to really put a total cost to that, but that's also a significant one. And also the lost opportunities for businesses that people could do, businesses that citizens could get, services that citizens could get because of a strong and robust database, that's also being lost. So it's really incalculable when you look at how much it is costing and the value, in terms of value to all of us for not just doing this exercise. So I would urge all of us. I know, our tendency to do last minute. But you see, when we wait till the last minute before we go, another thing that tends to happen is that you put a lot of pressure on the system. And for all of these apps and all of that, you dimension them. And you cannot just make it limitless. And then the discomfort for the citizen also becomes too much. So my plea to all of us Ghanaians is that let's try as much as possible. And now that there are no queues there, let's go. It takes you just a few minutes, go and get that done. Otherwise, use the self-registration app.
All right, 98% down, not too good. And so, yes, I pray that people have heard you and would go and register if they haven't. I appreciate your time with us, Ken Ashby, who is Chief Executive of the Telecoms Chamber. On that news that we have reported that since August, the number of people registering their SIM cards, the number has dropped by 98%. And, well, like we're saying, looks like it's a typical Ghanaian attitude to wait till the last minute. But as he points out, it is coming at a cost to the telcos and to the country as well as we continue to extend the SIM card re-registration. Let's turn to the stock market. Some news for you from there. Kwawu is retiring in November as the managing director of the stock exchange after 31 years of service. Here's more in this report. Kwawu can be associated with many transformational projects at the Ghana Stock Exchange, including coordination of automated trading as well as clearing and settlement of the exchange. He also coordinated the establishment of the alternative and fixed income markets. Having served the Ghana Stock Exchange for more than 3 decades since its establishment, Mr. Afezi is retiring at a time when the Ghanaian Bourse has experienced strong growth and outstanding performance. At the just-ended annual general meeting, he announced his retirement to council members and expressed appreciation to all stakeholders for their support. He has been speaking to Joy Business about the performance and the agenda ahead for whoever takes over from him.
2021 certainly was an improvement over the financials for 2020, about 32% increment in terms of the net profit. And you heard the chairperson talking about it, the fact that that's been the highest in our 31-year history. Going forward, we need to make sure that we sustain this, and as we move towards becoming a company limited by shares, and therefore having shareholders, we need to even work harder to make sure that we can generate the revenues in order to be able to pay dividends to the shareholders.
Kwawu Afezi was appointed as acting managing director in 2019 when his predecessor, Kofi Yamwa, retired and subsequently confirmed in 2020 as the managing director of the local bus. He had been the deputy managing director for 10 years, having worked with the exchange since its inception in 1990. Well, with that, we head to Patrick Edem-Agama, who is head of trading at Republic Securities. Good afternoon to you, Patrick. Before we kickstart, I'd like a few words from you on the legacy of Kwawu Afezi after he retires in November. What sort of impact has he made on the Ghana Stock Exchange?
Well, good afternoon. We've seen tremendous impact under his regime. We've seen that there were major listings on the market that gave us some international exposure. We also saw some massive integrations with regards to the markets and the growth in the fixed income market. And that was a bit massive to be noticed. And then we also saw that at the broker's point of view, there were improvements in the trading terminals that actually allow for easy trading as a broker. We saw that also under his tutelage, there were young brokers that had more energy to impact investors. One major improvement we saw under him was the media engagement, improved media engagement. You know, the market was lacking that effectiveness where investors were not getting informed. But under him, we saw that media engagement that improved investors' reaction to news on the market.
Yeah, and well, let's turn to performance though. Currently on the stock market, we understand there are selling pressures on two financial stocks. Tell us about what you're hearing and what we expect this week.
Well, for the stock market, we've seen that last week there were a lot of selling pressures that drove the market down as three equities dropped: SIC, MTN, and EcoBank. For the financial stock, we saw that there have been a lot of selling pressures in them, especially EcoBank Ghana, where it dropped 30% to 6.5 Ghana cedis per share. These selling pressures are massive, but what I noticed was that it was not enough to say that this is going to drive the stock further down. We expect to steady again and see what is actually moving these equities down, apart from the interest of investors in the fixed income market. And
on the treasury bills market, 11 consecutive weeks of oversubscription. What's the news from there?
Well, again, we saw the 91-day treasury bill each number 89 basis points to clear at 28.6. As high as 29% were accepted. And then we saw the 182-day treasury bill also inching up by 65 basis points to clear at 29.9. And then we saw some rise in the 364-day bill, which cleared at 29.5. With all this, we are seeing that there is still massive demand for the 91-day treasury bill, which took about 76.2% of the bids against the 20.8% for the 182-day and then 3.1% for the 365-day bill.
Anything else we should know this week?
Yes, so for this week, we should expect increased activity in the auction coming because of the excess funds on the market. We've seen that because of the cancellation of the 2-year and the 5-year tap-in, investors will be looking to place their monies in a very short-dated instrument. So we should expect marginal increase in the volumes traded for this week.
All right, Patrick Edem-Agama, I appreciate your time with us on the marketplace. You're watching the marketplace. We want to bring you some money tips on our Money Lab episode for this Monday afternoon. Take a look.
Hello there. Welcome once again to Money Lab, your favorite educational series. Now, we've looked extensively at fixed income securities. We've looked at the tax implications, we've looked at the benefits, and we've looked at what you stand to earn by investing in it. Now, the question is, how can I invest in fixed income securities? Now, to buy treasury bills, bonds, or any Government of Ghana security, you need two things. One, a bank account, and two, a CSE account. And to open a CSE account, all you need is a passport, picture, and an ID card. And bingo, you're set to open a CSE account, which is your depository account. However, you do not need a CSE account to invest in fixed deposits. Money Lab, your favorite educational series. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
Let's take a look at what is trending on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Our top story there, cedi strengthens against dollar, $750 million AfriExim loan, Bank of Ghana action yielding results. Also, we need confidence building to calm financial markets, as according to the Bank of Ghana. Read more from there, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.